Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today got a few parts for the BluePrint 400 crate engine. It's running good, running really good. I got a few things I want to change on it. One thing is that red distributor cap. It's just throwing everything off. I think it looks really bad, so I'm going to change that. And then I've got an issue where the vehicle this is going into, which is a 70 Chevy truck, I need a PCV valve. I need a place for that to go, and I also need a place for power brakes, a power booster to go. I've only got one line right here, or one big line, so I need another one. Normally you would put something right here in this port, but you can see the carburetor is right on top of that. So this Holley carburetor is right on top. There's no way to get a port on that. So I've got a few things that I'm going to show you. So this is what I got to fix those issues. I got MSD Street Fire black distributor cap. Also comes with a rotor that goes with it. So that's pretty straightforward. HEI. Then I got this Trans Dapt carburetor spacer. This is a 1-inch, and this has the port. It's got the port for the PCV valve to go on. It'll be in the back there, so I'll have my extra port that I need. This is actually supposed to help with low to mid range torque, better throttle response. This is the plastic one, so it's supposed to not transfer heat into the carburetor, which is supposed to help. But mainly I'm after the port for the PCV valve. So we're going to be installing that. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I got my cap out, and I've pushed the latches. You can see they got a funny notch to them, and I pushed them out and turned them so they're ready to be locked down. And then I'm going to take my my rotor bushing here. That goes down in there, and then we've got the insulator, and that goes on top of that. Now I'm ready to get my coil out of my other cap, and I'm going to transfer it over to this one. Okay, so I got all the plug wires off the cap. Little quick tip, what I do is Dad made up these clothespins, and they got numbers on them, and you can mark all the plug wires where they go. You can see where they go, but this kind of eliminates confusion, because sometimes they cross over here and you can get confused. This helps keep the wires where they go, so you don't get one crossed. But anyway, got to pull the cap off here, steal the coil out of this one for the other cap. Okay, so there's 3 screws that hold the cap on that covers all this. Then you got 4 screws that hold the coil down to the cap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got wires that go in here, and you got to pull them out. Make sure you know which way they go, and then you've got a ground wire right here that goes to the coil. So look at all this, figure out where it goes, and then you can pull it out, swap it over to the new cap. Okay, so I got it transferred over to the MSD cap. This insulator was on the bottom of the coil. You got to pull that off because there's a new one at MSD. I showed you, I put that in place already. Here's the cap. The cap goes on just like this. There's 3 screws that go in there, cover it up, and it's ready to go on. We got to pull the rotor off. There's 2 screws and we'll get that swapped too. Okay, so with the cap off, you can see the rotor on this original distributor. Now, you don't want to leave the rotor in there. You want to get a cap and rotor set, because they're all made for each other. So yeah, don't just leave this rotor in there. Replace it, because I guess they're, like I said, they're match sets. So 2 screws, they come out, and then you got to line it up. There's a notch. I believe there's the notch right there. You got to line that notch up so it's the same way. Okay, so there's the mark. Line it up on there, just like the other rotor was, and we'll be good. Okay, so one final thing, once you get the cap on, make sure you're lining up your notch. There's a notch right here. You got to plug your stuff back in. So should plug in the same way you had it before, just like that. Then I got to put my plug wires back on, and we'll be good to go. That black cap looks so much better on there. So much better. Wasn't a lot of money, wasn't very hard. So yeah. Now let's move on to the carb spacer. Okay, so here's the spacer out of the box. You've got a flat side and a not flat side. This is the side that I guess goes up towards the carburetor. Then it says, another sticker here, it says make sure your carburetor linkage and butterflies don't get caught on this spacer. So I got to pull these stickers off before I install it. Also comes with 2 gaskets that you need. It comes with studs. Maybe they'll work, maybe they won't with what I'm using. And then you got some stickers that are worth at least 5 horse. So here's the PCV vent or port that I'm going to be using. So let's get to installing this. Okay, so to pull these studs out, you got to pull these shorter studs out, put longer studs in. You take the nuts that held the carburetor down, and I'm going to tighten them up. I'm going to tighten them up, kind of do a jam nut thing. Then I'm going to take the bottom nut and I'm going to unscrew it, and that's going to take out this stud. You can install them the same way, just use a double nut. Okay, so it doesn't say this in the instructions, but anytime you run steel into aluminum, you should put a little bit of anti-seize on the bolts. Probably not that much, but these brushes are terrible on these bottles. But yeah, anti-seize on the bolts or the studs. Okay, so I got this thing already. Had to use some paint thinner to get the stickers off because they were stuck on there pretty good. Just wanted to show you a close-up of they got these grooves cut in the spacer there, and that's supposed to help atomize the fuel, I guess. I really just wanted a spacer that had a PVC port on it, and I guess I can put this either way. I think I'm going to put it in the back now that I got the studs installed. Got to put my gaskets on like so. Looks like it's not quite straight on there, which is interesting to me. Wonder if them gaskets have to go a certain way. maybe they do got to go a certain way here. This is made to fit the Holly. This is for the Holly. Oh, there we go. That seems better. Still seems like there's a little bit of a restriction there. Like the gasket ain't cut right. But we'll get the carburetor, we'll drop that on there, see what it looks like. Wow, those studs are super long. You don't know if you see that or not, but wow, they are long. I guess they figure you're gonna maybe add something like a linkage holder or something, but there's plenty of stud there. Put the nuts, and they got washers and nuts. I'll put them on there off camera. Okay, so I got it all in there. Carburetor bolts are tightened down. With it being up in the air, it's actually this fuel line does better with the alternator. And actually, with a 1-inch spacer, I probably could have used this port now. But I guess it's just easier to have one that, or have the spacer already have the port in it. So here's the PCV valve, and it's going to the port on the spacer. So pretty happy with everything that's worked out here. Tested the throttle linkage. It doesn't feel like anything's binding up. But those gaskets were kind of funny. They didn't quite line up and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see. I got to run this motor a bit more, so I'll test it, and yeah, we'll get this thing dialed in, I guess. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys.